Cristiano Ronaldo had always believed that some things in life were unbreakable, like the roar of a stadium when he scored a goal, the love of his children, and the presence of Georgina by his side. For years, he thought that no matter how many trophies he lifted or how many storms he survived, she would always be there, his quiet in a noisy world. But sometimes the quietest people hold the loudest secrets. And tonight, as the city lights of Madrid flickered like hidden whispers, a secret began to slip through the cracks. A secret that would shake the strongest man alive to his knees. It started small, as betrayal often does. A blurry photo, a hidden message, a whisper that no one wanted to believe. There she was, Georgina Rodriguez, stepping out of a black car, sunglasses covering eyes that had lied too well for too long. She looked over her shoulder, cautious, as if the shadows themselves might betray her. But she stepped forward anyway, towards a door that had been closed for years, a door that belonged to her past. Inside that quiet cafe, in a corner, hidden, away from the world's eyes, an old chapter waited for her. His name, known only to a few, but to Georgina, he was once her everything, the boy she dreamt of when Ronaldo was still just a name on TV screens. She sat across from him, heart pounding, words stumbling in her mouth. Outside, the cameras clicked in silence, far enough to stay hidden, close enough to catch every stolen glance, every forbidden smile. She didn't know the world was watching, or maybe she did and she just didn't care anymore. Back in Saudi Arabia, Ronaldo had just finished his last training session of the day. Sweat dripped from his temples, but his mind was calm, or so he thought. He didn't know that at that same moment, the woman he called his future was rewriting their past. His phone buzzed once, a message from an old friend in Madrid. At first, Ronaldo ignored it. He had learned not to believe every rumor. But that single photo, the one that would break him, waited inside that message like a ticking bomb. Hours later, alone in his hotel suite, he finally opened it, and for the first time in years, Cristiano Ronaldo, the unshakable champion, felt a tremor in his chest he couldn't control. There she was, Georgina. And there he was, the ghost from her past. He didn't know what to think. His hands trembled as he zoomed in. The way she smiled, the way she touched her hair. It wasn't an innocent smile. Not to him, not now. Somewhere, deep inside, he wanted to believe there was an explanation. That she was just meeting an old friend for coffee. But in Ronaldo's world, trust was the only thing that costs more than fame. And now that trust was slipping through his fingers, grain by grain. He tried to call her, once, twice, 3 times. No answer. He stared at his own reflection in the dark window, a man who could conquer stadiums but couldn't keep the woman he loved from slipping away into someone else's memory. Meanwhile, in that small cafe in Madrid, Georgina leaned closer. Their voices were soft, like secrets you tell in the dark. She laughed at something he said, a laugh Ronaldo hadn't heard in months. For one stolen hour, she wasn't the superstar's queen, she was just the girl she used to be. The girl who once believed in simple love, not stadium lights and billion-dollar deals. But every lie has a price. And Georgina didn't know that the bill was already on its way, waiting to blow their perfect life into pieces the world would watch like a tragedy on repeat. Outside the cafe, a photographer lowered his camera, his hands shaking. He knew he had gold, but he also knew he had a bomb in his pocket. The photo that could break a legend. The secret that could make him rich. Somewhere in that Madrid night, a betrayal was sealed. And back in his silent hotel suite, Ronaldo felt a darkness rising, a storm that no goal, no trophy, no spotlight could stop. For now, he sat alone, but the truth was already awake. And once truth opens its eyes, it never goes back to sleep. Back in Madrid, Georgina stepped out of the cafe just before midnight. The city was alive, but she moved like a ghost, slipping into the backseat of a waiting car. For a moment, she looked over her shoulder, as if she felt the weight of unseen eyes on her back, but the night swallowed her whole. Just like it always had when she wanted to hide. Inside the car, her phone buzzed. She saw his name, Cristiano. 3 missed calls. She didn't answer. Instead, she stared at her own reflection in the window, searching for the girl she used to be, and maybe for the lie she was about to tell. She told herself it was innocent. Old friends can meet, can't they? But deep down she knew how fragile her truth was. How easily the world would twist it. Or maybe, how easily it would twist her. Somewhere far away, Ronaldo stood alone on his balcony. Night wind cut through him, but he didn't move. His phone still in his hand, screen glowing with her name. He wanted to believe God. He wanted to believe she would answer. That she would laugh and call it nonsense. That she would say, "You worry too much." But the silence spoke louder than any lie. And in that silence, the king of football felt like a boy again, powerless, betrayed. Afraid to admit that maybe this time, the battle wasn't on the field but inside his own heart. At the same moment, the photographer uploaded the first photo to his editor. He didn't care about loyalty, or family, or what it would destroy. He only cared about the price. In minutes, the whispers turned into wildfire. Gossip pages lit up like sparks in a dry forest. Georgina spotted with mystery man. Is this the end of Cristiano and Georgina? Secret meeting or secret betrayal? By morning, the headlines would be everywhere from Portugal to Paris, from Dubai to LA. Fans would gasp. Friends would choose sides. And Ronaldo, he would have to choose to believe her, or to believe what his eyes showed him. That night, Georgina returned home. She slipped quietly into the house they once called a fortress, a home built on dreams and the hope that some fairy tales were real. She found Ronaldo's side of the bed empty, untouched. His scent lingered but his warmth was gone. She sat on the edge of the bed, the city noise outside like static. She wanted to call him, to say something, anything. But what could she say? How do you explain a meeting with a ghost you claimed you buried long ago? Ronaldo's phone rang. He stared at her name but didn't pick up. Pride and heartbreak wrestled inside him like rivals on a pitch. He threw the phone aside and walked to the window again, looking down at the city lights like they might hold an answer. But there was nothing there except echoes of what he thought love was. Meanwhile, the world watched. Fans flooded his social media. Is this true? We stand with you, Cristiano. How could she do this to you? Strangers defending him like family while he sat alone. His own heart, a stranger to in Madrid. The ex-boyfriend smiled to himself as he scrolled through the chaos. Maybe he didn't plan to hurt her, or maybe he did. Sometimes old flames don't die, they wait in the shadows, hoping for just one moment to burn everything down. By sunrise, the photo was everywhere, TV screens, Twitter trends, gossip, YouTube channels. Georgina woke up to a storm she could no longer hide from. The house was silent except for the sound of her children laughing down the hall, innocent. Untouched by the firestorm their parents were now trapped in. She closed her eyes and whispered, to herself, I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. But her reflection in the mirror didn't believe her. Maybe Ronaldo wouldn't either. Far away, in a private training ground, Ronaldo laced up his boots, like he always did when he needed to silence the world. But this time, the roar of the pitch wouldn't fix what was breaking inside. He could outrun defenders, but not betrayal. He could score 1,000 goals, but what good were they if the person he scored them for was no longer his? He knew the questions would come. The press conferences, the fake smiles, the forced statements, but the truth. That would stay between him, Georgina, and the ghost she met behind his back. The king was hurt. The queen was cornered, and the world was hungry for more. Somewhere deep inside, both of them knew. This was only the beginning, the calm before a storm no one could control. Sunlight broke through the curtains, but the warmth never touched Ronaldo's chest that morning. He sat at the edge of his bed, tying his shoelaces with a calmness that felt like a lie. Somewhere in the same house, Georgina paced the hallway like a prisoner trapped inside walls she once called home. She knew he'd seen the photo, the whole world had by now. The children's laughter drifted through the rooms, innocent to the Cold War creeping through their parents' eyes. She wanted to speak, to defend herself, to say it wasn't what it looked like, but deep inside she knew. Once trust is cracked, it bleeds into everything. Ronaldo stood in the doorway, watching her from a distance, as if she were a stranger wearing his lover's face. He didn't shout. He didn't break things. He didn't demand answers, like men do in cheap tabloid stories. He just stood there, the man who'd faced booze, insults, betrayal on the field, yet nothing ever cut him like this silence between them. Georgina looked up, her voice small, like a secret she didn't want to tell. Cristiano, please, can we talk? He didn't flinch. He just stared at her, searching for the girl he trusted with his name, his children, his legacy. But the picture wouldn't leave his mind. Her smile, the way her ex's hand rested, so close on the table. The way her eyes looked alive. He wanted to believe it meant nothing, but part of him wondered if he'd given her the world but stolen her heart in return. Maybe she missed the girl she was before she became Ronaldo's Georgina. The hours crawled by while the world outside feasted on their pain. Sports channels shifted from goals to gossip. Talk shows debated loyalty like they knew it better than the two people living it. Fans argued online, some defending her, some demanding he leave her for good. That night, Ronaldo didn't come home. He stayed at a private suite, away from the noise, but the noise was inside him now. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her in that cafe. He wondered what they talked about. Did she laugh about him? Did she complain about the man who gave her everything? Back at the house, Georgina sat on the floor of the bedroom, the same room that once held their secrets and dreams. She replayed the meeting in her mind, trying to rewrite it. What if I hadn't gone? What if I'd told Cristiano first? But it was too late. Truth is never kind to those who bury it. The next morning, news vans gathered outside their gates. Prying eyes waited for a glimpse, a slammed door, a bag thrown into a car, a tear-streaked goodbye, but there was nothing. Just silence. Ronaldo sat with his agent and closest friends. They talked in hushed tones about statements, damage control, fake smiles for cameras. But Ronaldo barely listened. He stared out the window at the empty training pitch, for the first time. The king looked tired, like he'd fought every battle except the one that mattered most, the war for a loyal heart. Georgina texted him again, "We need to talk, please, I love you." He read it. He put the phone down. He didn't reply. Later that day, paparazzi caught him alone in his car, head down, sunglasses hiding eyes that once faced stadium lights without blinking. The man who never let defenders break him was now breaking from within. Somewhere far away, the ex-boyfriend gave his first sly statement to a gossip page. He smirked, claiming it was nothing serious. "We're just friends." But the grin on his face told another story, that sometimes revenge doesn't need bullets. It just needs a moment, a camera, and a lie that feels real enough to ruin everything. As days turned into weeks, Ronaldo and Georgina stayed under the same roof, but worlds apart. She slept on one side of the house, he on the other. At night she'd hear him in the gym downstairs, the sound of a punching bag taking hits, meant for a heart that couldn't fight back. One night she found him there, drenched in sweat, fists raw, and eyes cold. She whispered, "Tell me what to do to fix this." He looked at her, breath heavy, eyes empty. "You can't fix what you broke." When you looked back, instead of looking at me. And just like that, the quiet war went on. No slammed doors, no headlines saying it's over. Just two people living together yet drifting further apart with every heartbeat. Outside, the world soon moved on to new scandals, new betrayals to feed on, but inside those walls, the king and queen of a fairy tale now lived as ghosts. She lost him the moment she looked over her shoulder at her past. He lost her the moment he realized loyalty can't be bought, only given, and once it's gone, no trophy can bring it back. No one knows if they'll survive this storm. Maybe they'll stand in front of cameras one day, hands clasped, smiles fake but necessary. Maybe they'll bury it all behind another mansion door. Or maybe late at night, when the lights are out, they'll both lie awake wondering if all the fame in the world is worth a love that dies quietly while the world watches it burn. And somewhere, that photo will always live proof that sometimes the worst betrayal isn't loud or violent. It's a smile across a table, a ghost from the past, and a king who couldn't win the only game that really mattered.